So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the counter team to Puppeteer. Puppeteer is definitely one of the strongest demons right now. This is the current build I have. It is a book build and possession build. The reason I have a possession build here is because I'm working on the prestige here. I'm not going to be using any points to level them up. So I need to deal damage, induce fear on survivors, and then possess them in complete matches. So for that, this is why I have spec'd into here. You don't really do as much damage with Puppeteer. Not like Warlord. But this kind of helps you overcome that by possessing survivors and doing damage with the survivors. And I want my elite strong, and I want to power possess them so I can get lightning strikes on book. And these explosions is going to help destroy book. So when you're talking about Puppeteer, and this is how I induce fear on survivors as well. When you're talking about fear and the counter to Puppeteer, you're talking about the power possess. How do you counter his power possess? Right. Everything here is just increasing the power of power possess. Even at P5, it increases the damage by 8, and maximum health stays the same. So the extra would really is beneficial with Puppeteer is those 5 extra points. Normally you would have it spec'd. Someone would have it spec'd in such a way where you'd be able to do a ton of damage on book and still be able to do damage to survivors. So normally you see it something like this, right? This is how you would have it. So when I get to P5, the thing I'm going to do is I would spec it 3 points of this. That way I'm doing more damage with my boss. And that stacks with Kandarian Fury. But in reality, you want to put something like 3 points into here so that your elites have more health, so it's hard to destroy a book. Or, you know, 3 points into here, 3 points into here, and like 2 points into here. You can even go 2 and 3 here and still be fine. So now let's talk about the counters to this kind of build, which is the typical, you know, 0 prestige Puppeteer build. So Hunter Ash, right? Literally just cancels out the power possess. Yes, you can power possess elites, but power possess elites are so easy to dodge. So the only time you really want to use power possessed elites is during book phase. They get their lightning strikes every 3 seconds, so they're able to shoot out lightnings. With the regular possessed elites, it takes way longer than that. I think 15 seconds. So what ends up happening is he has to use power possess on the elites with Hunter Ash. Not only that, but Hunter Ash has a double barrel mastery. Now this only works for the double barrel. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for the boomstick. But it provides a 25% more balance bar damage, and the reload is faster. So you want to stick with the double barrel for Hunter Ash against Puppeteer. And the only real problem you have with Hunter Ash against Puppeteer is going to be the boss. If they know how to use boss correctly. So you want to spec around your basically Hunter Ash in this. And I know what you're thinking, oh, go David. David is not good against Puppeteer. His ability doesn't really depossess units. Yes, it'll depossess boss, but if you really wanted to, you could do that with Hunter Ash. If the boss was roaming around and just trying to stall for time, he's eventually going to be low on Infernal Energy and you could use your ability. I'm going to say Blacksmith is better. And the reason Blacksmith is better is because you're already going to be speccing into balance bar damage with him. And he has a weapon mastery where he does 20% more balance bar damage. And why am I bringing up balance bar? Well, because another combo with Hunter Ash is Annie. So not only are you increasing balance bar damage for Hunter Ash's double barrel, you're also increasing balance bar damage for Blacksmith. So in this way, these two are very good. All three of these are very good combo. So what's going to be the next character? Well, to be honest, I think Ruby. Like, you can go with Scotty, Henry, and still benefit from the balance bar damage. Scotty could benefit from the balance bar damage, but I think Ruby is an overall better character. And the build I would have for her, since you already have Hunter Ash, and Annie is based on range, is instead of being spec'd into range here, you'd be spec'd into damage, and then you'd be the one dealing with the elite during book phase. So you'd have 20 max studies, so you'd be doing 20% extra damage. And take this out of cardio. So this would be your build if you're going up against a Puppeteer, because you'd be the one being the warrior in this situation. So now, not only do you have a ton of range damage for Hunter Ash, because you know Annie and Ruby are stacking the damage for Hunter Ash, but you're also increasing Blacksmith's melee damage. So you're increasing his melee damage, and you're increasing his balance bar damage. And the reason I'm bringing up balance bar is because you need balance bar so the elites don't get off lightning strikes on book. Elites take less range damage, and this is why people considered running Scotty instead, so that you have Scotty on book. Now, lightning stacks on book, so what ends up happening is that you have, in solo queues, that you have all the survivors gathered around the book, and so the book is hit by 5 lightning strikes, so it just melts through book, and this is why Puppeteer is so good. So in this situation, I would test your balance bar damage against the power possessed elites during the points, and see if you could destroy the balance before he even gets the first lightning strike off. If you don't, then the only person that's going to be on book is Blacksmith. He's going to use an amulet to increase his damage, and he's going to start using a sledgehammer or a mace or a high rarity melee weapon that has high balance bar damage to destroy the elite's balance bar. And Ruby also has her Aura Blast that also damages balance bar as well. Ruby and Annie will be using a sledgehammer or a mace as well, and same with the Hunter Ash. As for range weapons, what do I think the Ruby and Annie should be using? Well, I think the Annie should be using a either a blunderbuss. So a blunderbuss would be perfect for Annie, and that way she can get the max amount of damage. She can use a revolver as well. Revolver is very nice, but if Annie's gonna be using special, Ruby is gonna be using just a grenade launcher. You know, just to deal with the horde of basics. Yes, you're not going to be able to kill the basics with just one grenade shot, but you're just going to do enough damage where it knocks the enemies back, and so they don't swing on book. So, once again, I think the perfect team comp is Ruby, Annie, Hunter Ash, Blacksmith. Ruby provides the damage resistance for the rest of the team, so it's harder to down them. Blacksmith has a natural high level health and damage resistance. Both Ruby and Annie have a ton of stamina to dodge. They get 4 dodges. Not to mention Ruby increases stamina regeneration, so they're going to get dodges more often. And same with Hunter Ash, she's going to damage resistance from Ruby, and the stamina increase to really dodge, and damage increase from Annie and Ruby. So really, you're going to have so much damage and so much balance bar damage that it's going to be very hard for Puppeteer to really do anything. If you want to talk, what's the counter to that as Demon? So the counter to that as Demon, what Demon would you go? Well, the Demon you would go would be Necromancer. And you're like, why would you go Necromancer? Necromancer is the slowest. It requires so much setup. These things are needed. So the reason you would go Necromancer is because you have to have book game build with. I mean, people want to talk about book game here and how it's a horrible thing in the game, but it's needed as Demon. Like, you need to have a stationary target to face because of how Demon is. So this is my build right now for him. Like, normally I wouldn't have 3 points into this. I just have 3 points because I need some basics, I think, for my prestige here. Right? Yeah, see, I need to spawn basics here. So I have the cooldown reduction, so I can do that. Like I said, I'm not wasting any points. But normally I would have it spec'd into something else to really help me. Probably Portal Authority Elites. That we can add summon all these units. So basically, I have this, so the units resurrect and basically protect my boss. And I can destroy book. I want Flatus as far away as possible. I want it to have extra health. Yes, it can still get one-shotted with a blunderbuss or a hunting rifle. But if they're using any other gun, a pistol, or a revolver or something, it's going to take more shots to take down. I want an extra skeleton to be summoned so that skeleton gets resurrected. I want the max amount of health, even though he can get burned out. And really, I don't know why I have it there. I want the attack frequency to increase here. So this is kind of the only real counter to that team comp. The problem is, if they're very, like, the reason I say it's the counter to that team comp, right, is because Blacksmith has no ability to go for Flatus. So you're going to have to sacrifice damage. And who's going to be going for Flatus? The Annie is going to be going for Flatus in that situation. Why is the Annie going to go for Flatus? It's because of Ruby and Hunter Ash. Ruby provides more for Hunter Ash than the Annie does, right? This is a situation where boss is going to be maxed out. He's not going to be receiving balance bar damage. So there's no reason for him to really have Annie around. And Ruby provides more of a buff to the team and damage resistance. So the Annie needs to be the one going for Flatus. So you're wasting out on damage. You have all the units around you for boss as you're swinging on book, so he has to kill those units. The problem is, you have your resurrection ability up, and this is why you want to spec into 30 seconds for your ability to be up. This ability right here, so that it's up longer. It's up for, 30 seconds of book phase. Book phase, it lasts 2 minutes. So, in this situation, this is why it'd be the perfect counter. So all these units are coming back to life, and you have to make an option. And not to mention, you're getting hit by units as Hunter Ash. You're not just standing there, barrel stuffing Evil Ash. You're getting knocked around. And the only thing that Ruby is really doing is focusing on the units, like, if she's smart, she's focusing on the units around her. And if she uses her Aura Burst anyways, yes, it's going to damage Evil Ash, but all the units that she kills are going to be resurrected. So it just counteracts her ability. So really, the only person that can be really doing damage to Blacksmith, like, this is also why she runs a grenade launcher as well, for this situation. But like I said, they're just going to keep coming back to life. and protecting Evil Ash from destroying Brock. And Blacksmith has, like I said, no ability for Pilatus, so you're sacrificing damage instead. Like in this situation, this is why David is better than Blacksmith. And normally you wouldn't know what demon, what the demon is going to go, what character. And this is why Blacksmith is not always the perfect choice. Because in that situation, David would have been better against Necromancer. I'll talk about counters to Necromancer in a later video. But yeah, so that's my counter build to counter team to Puppeteer. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, any ideas on what's a better team composition, please leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching.